From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun.
Hello and welcome tonight. Court of Appeal stays judgment deregistering 5 political parties, faults trial judges' action as affront to judicial hierarchy. With 4 days to the Ekiti governorship election, chieftains of the All Progressives Congress (APC) hold a mega rally in Ekiti to mobilize support for Governor Aviation Oyebanji. Katsina court sentences female arms courier arrested by the Department of State Services to death by hanging after finding her guilty of arms-related offenses. And U.S. President Donald Trump says the Strait of Hormuz will be open to toll-free maritime transit under a U.S. brokered deal with Iran designed to bring an end to the conflict.
On business news, global oil price benchmark Brent crude price falls below $80 per barrel for first time in 3 months on reports of U.S. move to permit Iranian oil sale.
On sports news tonight, Lionel Messi is set to make his 200th senior appearance for defending champions Argentina when they face Algeria national team in their FIFA World Cup Group J opener in Kansas City.
And from the nation's capital, gunmen killed 3 security operatives at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies in Kuru, Plateau State during a late-night attack.
We begin with the courts, and the Court of Appeal in Abuja has ordered the stay of execution of the judgment that directed INEC to deregister the African Democratic Congress and 4 other political parties. In a unanimous decision, a 3-member panel of the Appellate Court, led by Justice Abba Mohammed, berated Justice Peter Lifu of the Federal High Court in Abuja for flouting an order it made on May the 22nd, which directed him to suspend proceedings before him. The Appellate Court held that Justice Lifu's action amounted to an affront on the hierarchy of courts. It held that the lower court's action was the highest form of judicial impertinence, stressing that the Supreme Court previously held that the judge who acted in such manner is unfit for the bench, as it amounts to judicial rascality. According to the Appellate Court, despite its clear order halting proceedings, the trial court went ahead to deliver judgment, an action it described as a brazen disregard for judicial authority. The justices added that the decision of the lower court to proceed with the judgment despite the express order of this court is a brazen violation of the hierarchy of the court and the 1999 Constitution. The Court of Appeal, however, is expected to continue hearing the substantive appeal in the matter on June the 25th this year. Now, ahead of the Ekiti State governorship election, leaders of the All Progressives Congress, dignitaries and eligible voters converged in support of Governor Aviation Oyebanji's re-election, scheduled to hold on Saturday. Now, the campaign rally, which took place at the Government House Pavilion in Ekiti, hosted prominent figures who cited the growth and transformation of Ekiti State under its current administration, thereby endorsing his return to office.
It's about 3 days to the Ekiti State governorship election, and preparations are already in top gear for the All Progressives Congress (APC), as dignitaries and voters within Ekiti State rally in support of Governor Abiodun Oyebanji's re-election bid. The colorful campaign held at the Government House Pavilion in Ekiti brings together present and past governors from states across Nigeria, alongside supporters from the 16 local government areas in Ekiti State. One of the prominent figures at the event is former governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose, who applauds Governor Oyebanji's leadership, urging eligible voters to return Governor Yebanji to office come June 20.
In Ekiti, I'm not a PCO, but here, it is Governor Abayomi Oyebanji.
Addressing the gathering, the governor of Kaduna State, Ubasani, lauds Governor Oyebanji's contribution to education, power, infrastructure and socio-economic development, just as his Imo State counterpart, Hope Uzodinma, calls on Ekiti people to come out en masse to vote for Governor Oyebanji on Saturday.
We have seen the level of development in Ekiti State. Last week, during our inauguration, I made it clear to everyone that the governor have done more than any other governor in the history of Ekiti State.
I'm confident from what I've seen today, the indicators on the ground, on the streets, in every home, is that Bawo has done well.
On his part, the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, highlights the growth and transformation of Ekiti State under Governor Yebanji, believing that he has done enough to earn a second term.
He came prepared. He came with knowledge of the land. He came with respect for elders, with regards for institutions, and with a heart open to the young. He has not spent his time fighting shadows. He has spent building bridges, strengthening trust, and keeping the machinery of government focused on service.
With the campaign over, leaders and supporters of the APC are optimistic that come Saturday, June 20, Governor Yebanji and his running mate will get the much-needed vote to return and complete what they started about 4 years ago.
The Federal High Court in Katsina State has sentenced a female arms courier, Hawwa Mukhtar, to death by hanging after she was convicted of conspiracy to commit, aid and abet terrorism in a case prosecuted by the Department of State Services, DSS. Mukhtar was arrested by the DSS in September 2023 at Jibia Motor Park while allegedly attempting to transport 438 rounds of 7.62mm ammunition to a notorious bandit leader operating in Zamfara State. After reviewing the evidence and testimonies presented by both sides, the court found her guilty on all counts and imposed a death sentence in line with the Katsina State Penal Code law. The conviction marks the second death sentence secured by the DSS this month in terrorism-related cases. It also follows the recent conviction of another female arms courier who was sentenced to 20 years imprisonment for unlawful possession of ammunition and attempting to provide support for terrorist activities. And Justice Mohammed Umar of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has revoked the bail granted to the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, Omoyele Sowore. Mr. Showore's bail was revoked by Justice Umar for failing to appear in court for his trial. At the day's proceeding, counsel for the prosecution, Kehinde Akilolu, told the court that Mr. Sowore was absent from court despite being aware of the day's hearing. Mr. Akilolu then prayed the court for the revocation of Mr. Showore's bail for his failure to appear in court and his alleged continuous move to delay his trial. Justice Umar acknowledged that although Mr. Sowore had sent a letter seeking an adjournment by the court, he did not state any reason for such adjournment in the letter. He subsequently adjourned the case to June the 22nd for hearing. Despite criticism over alleged land grabbing, the lands acquired within the capital city were taken solely for development purposes. And that's according to the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike. The minister gave this clarification during the commissioning of quarters for Court of Appeal judges and the flag-off of construction of quarters for Industrial Court and Code of Conduct Tribunal judges in Abuja.
This event is part of a 3-week commissioning series organized to commemorate the 3rd anniversary of President Bola Tinubu's administration.
Design and construction of 40 judges' quarters.
Today's focus is on judicial infrastructure projects. The ceremony has in attendance legal luminaries led by the President of the Court of Appeal, the Minister of the FCT, and the Attorney General of the Federation, who is representing President Bola Tinubu.
Welcome with me.
The commissioning of these judges' quarters is significant because it is a direct outcome of the deliberate policy of providing practical support to the judiciary as a co-equal arm of government.
Building a judiciary fit for the next 50 years, therefore, requires sustained investment in modern facilities, technological advancements, and the welfare of our judicial officers. By strengthening these foundations today, we ensure that the court remains robust, attracts the finest legal minds, and is fully equipped to meet the demands of a rapidly evolving capital city and nation.
The houses are designed to ensure that judicial officers are comfortable during active service and have befitting homes when they retire. The Judiciary Housing Project goes beyond rhetoric and is a practical demonstration of support for the judiciary, which reinforces public trust in the justice system.
In his remarks, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, addressed critics who accused him of land grabbing.
This land belongs to Julius Berger. I will say they signed Julius Berger. They said, this is the property of Julius Berger. I said, thank you very much. So I looked around, no road, nowhere to take land. So I went back to the office. I said, when did they allocate this land to Julius Berger? 15 years ago. I said, fine. I called Julius Berger. 15 years ago, you've not developed the land. He said, oh, they are waiting for infrastructure. I said, okay, you are waiting for infrastructure. After taking our land, no problem. I revoked the land for public interest.
The Attorney General of the Federation is representing President Bola Tinubu at the ceremony. He expressed confidence that the project will provide better welfare for judicial officers.
Today's event is much more than the unveiling of a physical infrastructure. It is a tangible demonstration of federal government's enduring commitment to the welfare, independence, efficiency, and dignity of the judiciary.
Done with the speeches, the minister, accompanied by the Attorney General of the Federation, commissioned the buildings. They also flagged off the construction of quarters for the judges of the Industrial Court and the Code of Conduct Tribunal.
In Oyo, the state government has demolished a building allegedly used as a storage facility for arms and ammunition by suspected criminal elements in Ibadan, the state capital. The demolition, which was carried out under the directive of Governor Seyi Makinde, followed intelligence reports and investigations by security agencies.
Another building allegedly linked to suspected criminal elements within the state goes down. This building, which is located at Benku Community, Arubiewe Road off Olodo Garage in Egbeda local government area of Oyo State, is the second to be demolished in the space of about 1 week. Break after break, metals, woods, plastic, and every indicator of comfortable habitat came tumbling down as the bulldozer spares nothing of use in the compound which houses a story building and 2 units of bungalows. Leading a team of government officials and security operatives to the scene, the Commissioner for Public Works and Transport, Abdulmajid Mugonjubola, notes that the action is part of sustained effort by government and security agencies to dismantle criminal elements spreading network within Oyo State.
Immediately, His Excellency gave instruction. I intimated the Commissioner for Justice on it, and I think we're good.
Recalling that the state had witnessed a series of kidnapping incidents in recent weeks, including the abduction of school children and another high-profile case involving a relative of a former federal minister, Mugonjubola adds that the government would not spare anyone found with links to any form of crime within the state.
We will not, His Excellency will not tolerate all these inadequacies, all these kidnapping, armed robbery and stuff like that. And this will serve as a strong warning to the residents of the area. If you see something, say something. To the landlord and to the agent
If you're taking a tenant in a property, investigate who this person. If you are the landlord, investigate who your tenant is. If you are the person that owns the building, be careful.
Meanwhile, the Oyo State Police Command had earlier announced the recovery of additional firearms, ammunition, vehicles, motorcycles, and other exhibits linked to a criminal network allegedly headed by one Surajuddin Babatunde Adio, popularly known as Suri Lukweju. Bukola Uriowo, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, stakeholders in the broadcast industry agree on a new hybrid model as the federal government prepares to roll out the first phase of the digital switchover, marking a major milestone in Nigeria's transition from analog to digital broadcasting. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Court of Appeal stays judgment deregistering 5 political parties, false trial judges' action as affronts to judicial hierarchy. With 4 days to the Ekiti governorship poll, chieftains of the APC hold a mega rally in Ekiti to mobilize support for Governor Biodun Oyebanje. Katsina court sentences female arms courier arrested by the Department of State Services to death by hanging after finding her guilty of arms-related offenses. And US President Donald Trump says the Strait of Hormuz will be open to toll-free maritime transit under a US brokered deal with Iran designed to bring an end to the conflict. Stakeholders in Nigeria's broadcasting industry are backing a hybrid digital broadcasting model while reaffirming digital terrestrial television as a key pillar of the country's digital switchover program. The resolution is coming from a stakeholders' engagement on the DSO rollout convened by the National Broadcasting Commission in Abuja, chaired by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris. Our correspondent, Benny Ark, reports.
Stakeholders across Nigeria's broadcasting value chain are gathering in Abuja to review progress on the digital switchover project and agree on practical steps towards its successful implementation.
Again, I want to recognize especially
in attendance at the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mr. Mohammed Idris, the Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, Mr. Charles Ibuebu, the Chairman of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, Mr. Tony Akiotu, the Chairman of Channels Media Group, Dr. John Momo, the Managing Director of NIPSS, Mrs. Jane Egerton Idehem, as well as broadcasters, content producers, satellite operators, and other industry players. The Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission reaffirms the Commission's commitment to the digital switchover program, describing it as critical to industry growth, investment protection, and the long-term sustainability of broadcasting in Nigeria.
We have been on this subject of the DSO for so long, more than a decade, and we've had many missed timelines and all of that. We strongly believe, even as a commission, of course, with the stakeholders, that we're about to present a plan that will finally get us over the bridge.
Addressing the gathering, the minister says the digital switchover is beyond a technology upgrade, describing it as a strategic national project capable of driving economic transformation and greater access to quality broadcast content.
The promise of the DSO lies in its ability to create a more vibrant media ecosystem, one that supports more channels, more local content, better audience measurement, stronger advertising revenues, increased innovation and greater opportunities for Nigerian creativity to blossom and flourish.
The engagement later moves into a closed-door session where stakeholders deliberate on key implementation issues and adopt a series of resolutions aimed at advancing the project. One of the major outcomes of the meeting is the retention of digital terrestrial television as a core component of Nigeria's digital switch-over framework.
Stakeholders reaffirmed their collective commitment to the successful implementation of the digital switchover program in Nigeria. The meeting agreed that digital terrestrial television remains an integral component of the DSO framework and should not be discontinued. Stakeholders agreed on the importance of adopting a hybrid digital broadcasting model that leverages DTT, direct-to-home, satellite services, and digital application-based delivery platforms.
In his closing remarks, the minister makes a key announcement on the next phase of the project.
I'm glad that today this stakeholder engagement is leading us to the first phase of the implementation, which is going to happen by God's grace tomorrow. And it will provide us an opportunity to move over while we continue to make adjustments and corrections where necessary.
With stakeholders reaffirming their commitment to the process, attention is now turning to the commencement of the first phase of the rollout as government and industry players work to deliver a more inclusive, sustainable, and competitive broadcasting ecosystem. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
So let's head to the nation's capital where Terry Kumi is standing by to give us the latest from our Abuja studios. Over to you, Terry.
Well, thank you very much, Ayo. The Plateau State Police Command has confirmed a deadly early morning attack on the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, in which 3 security personnel were killed. Authorities say the situation has since been brought under control with heavy security deployment around the institution. In a press statement, the police public relations officer Alfred Alabo said the incident occurred in the early hours of Tuesday involving personnel on duty at the institute. It regretted the loss of 3 security operatives, noting that reinforcements have been deployed while patrols have been intensified around the area. Following the incident, there is now heavy security presence around the institution, with military and police operatives deployed to strategic positions to prevent any further breach and reassure the residents of safety. Meanwhile, speaking to journalists in his office, the head of the Public Affairs Department of NIPSS, Dr. Osime Samuel, confirmed the police report.
Elements tried to get into the National Institute. They tried to breach the perimeter fencing and get into the premises of the National Institute. But they were quickly repelled both by the internal security units in the National Institute and also by the security forces. We do not know the scope of the incident at this time because the matter is still being investigated. There are policemen and other security agencies on the premises who are currently conducting an investigation. What I can tell you is that efforts have been made to bolster the security presence on the institute. What I can tell you is that even though the incident lasted for a little over an hour, nobody was abducted, and things have returned to normal.
The Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, is assuring officers that the creation of state police does not mean abolition of the Nigeria Police. Mr. Disu gave the assurance while addressing personnel of the force in Dutse, the Jigawa state capital. He explains that the clarification became imperative in order to address concerns among officers and men of the force surrounding the creation of state police. He adds that legislative development concerning the creation of the state police has generated considerable discussions within policing circles and across the nation in recent weeks, but further assures that there is nothing to worry about.
I am aware that many officers and men have questions, concerns, and in some cases, genuine anxiety about the development many may think for the future of the Nigerian police force and for your individual careers. As your Inspector General of Police, it is important that I address this concern directly and provide as much clarity as possible. Let me begin by assuring everybody here today that there is no reason to panic at all. The creation of state police does not mean the abolition of the Nigerian police force. We remain as the Nigerian police force. And let me tell you something before I continue. In the past, when they are discussing matters that concern the police, a number of times, we, the police, do not take part in it. We leave it to them to decide our fates. That is why we are complaining today. We do not have a scheme harmonizing our job. That is why a lot of allowances that we are supposed to get, we are not getting it. I want to let you know that we have finished the scheme and we are taking it to the president to approve it. After it is approved, our condition of service will improve.
Well, the conversation of insecurity comes to the fore again among federal lawmakers as the National Assembly is calling for a comprehensive approach to combating the issue in Nigeria. Speaking at the National Security Seminar in Abuja, organized by the Alumni Association of the National Defense College, former Senate President Ahmed Lawan emphasized the importance of collective action against terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and other security threats.
This is the 15th National Security Seminar organized by the Alumni Association of the National Defense College as part of measures to combat insecurity in the country. The seminar begins with speakers examining the issue of border security.
In recent years, we have used this forum to interrogate critical issues of national security. For instance, in 2014, we examined the theme curbing oil theft and illegal crude oil refining in Nigeria.
This seminar will examine the policies and practices required to monitor, manage, and safeguard Nigeria's international boundaries to prevent unauthorized entry and exit, as well as combat transnational crime such as smuggling, terrorism, while facilitating safe and legal trade and travel.
The vulnerability of the nation's borders and the need to strengthen security across the country dominates discussion.
On the aspect of physical security, border security can help in countering terrorism and counter-insurgency. It can also help deter transnational criminals and reduce crimes such as smuggling, human trafficking, and the proliferation of small arms and light weapons.
It was observed by Okumu in 2016 that effective border management has become a critical component of state security in Africa due to the increasing complexity of cross-border criminal networks and security challenges.
Other speakers harp on the need to strengthen the nation's border security, just as the National Assembly stressed the need for a holistic approach.
The security of a nation begins with the protection of its sovereignty and territorial integrity. For Nigeria, effective border security is not simply a law enforcement responsibility. It is a strategic national security imperative.
It is now time more than at any other time in our history to have all hands on deck to deal with the menace of insecurity in Nigeria.
The seminar with the theme Strengthening Nigeria's Border Security Architecture for National Security is aimed at brainstorming on how to effectively combat the nation's security challenges.
Well, still to come on the news at 10, Brent crude falls below $80 per barrel for the first time in 3 months on reports of the U.S. move to permit Iranian oil sales. That's on Business News. Do stay with us.
Welcome back to the news at 10. Wife of the president, Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, has commissioned 10 urban roads constructed by the administration of Governor Hyacinth Alia. The First Lady, who commended the governor for his leadership and provision of infrastructure, gave the commendation in Makurdi, the Benue state capital, during the commissioning of Ishaya Baku dual carriage road fitted with a 2.4-kilometer flood control project, now renamed Senator Oluremi Tinubu Way. She also commissioned the Community ICT Center Ihu in Bandekia local government.
Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu's jet, touches down at the Makurdi airport. Stepping off the aircraft, the First Lady's itinerary moves swiftly to the capital city's urban corridors. Here she commissions 10 intra-city road projects. Covering 11.5 kilometers, these critical networks include the newly dualized Ishaya Bakut Road and the Abu King Sholuwa Road, all constructed to eliminate gridlock and open fresh economic windows for local traders. The 10 roads are amongst 45 ongoing road projects that form part of the urban renewal and infrastructure development projects embarked on by the governor.
Newly constructed ones under our watch have opened up previously inaccessible areas, reduced travel time, enhanced connectivity between different communities in the city of Makurdi, and improve the aesthetic outlook of our capital city. We have also created employment opportunities during construction, and we continue to stimulate economic activities for years to come.
For Benue residents, these projects could not have come at a better time.
I'm one of those that were involved in construction of the road. You can see how the situation is clean with that channel around 2.4 kilometer channel around. The issue of flooding also has been eradicated completely.
Benue has turned into a giant construction site all over. Makurdi precisely is looking more like a state capital. It's looking more like a state capital now. And I feel he has hit the ground running, and the space and Benue will be better for it, for more development.
From the state capital, the convoy moves to Ihu in Bandekia local government area for the crown jewel of the day's events, which is the handover of a community ICT center executed via her signature Renewed Hope initiative in collaboration with the National Information Technology Development Agency.
We have trained citizens in Benue State under our Digital Literacy for All and 3MTT initiative. More than 13,300 Benue citizens have benefited from our digital literacy and skills training.
I urge members of this community to take full ownership of this center. The success of this center depends on your active participation and utilization of the resources available.
The First Lady then announces a total of 100 million naira grant under the RHI empowerment scope, a 50 million naira grant to the state government to support 1,000 petty traders in Bandekia local government to recapitalize their businesses, and another 50 million naira to support 1,000 Makurdi women.
Urban transportation in Lagos takes another leap forward as LagRide, an e-hailing service company, handed over vehicles to a new set of drivers known as captains under its structured Drive Town program. The initiative provides qualified beneficiaries with access to vehicles through a repayment ownership pathway supported by training, platform standards and operational discipline. Speaking at the handover ceremony in Lagos, Mildred Ekanem, Executive Director of LagRide, said the program reflects the company's broader vision of using mobility as a tool for empowerment, economic progress and long-term asset ownership.
After completing training at the LagRide Academy and a 90-day rent-out phase to build earnings and reputational credibility, 10 LagRide captains are now qualified to enter the Drive to Own program, transitioning into full vehicle ownership. Excitement fills the air as they receive the keys to their cars.
Through LagRide Drive to Own, mobility becomes more than daily trips. It becomes a tool for financial growth, job creation, long-term asset ownership. We are building one of the biggest, most structured and most excellent city mobility platforms in West Africa. Yes, that's a hint. In West Africa, we are building it one captain, one vehicle, one trip, one success, one story at a time.
The ceremony then moves outdoors where 10 brand new SUVs, both petrol and electric, await their new owners.
I feel that the result of effort I'm putting in working has grown to a point that the management has recognized and deemed me fit to be offered a car to drive and own it at the end of the day. It's an ample opportunity for me, and I grab it with all heart.
In Lag Ride, we start the operation by 6 and we end it by 10. But with DTO, you have the liberty to walk anytime you want. In the rental services for the EVs, we pay 1.5 million every month. And for the SUVs, we pay 1.8 million. So the joy in DTO is that you're sure that whatever you're making, you're paying for your car. You're making into your car and into your pockets.
The scheme, which targets onboarding 3,500 captains, is designed to instill an ownership mindset among drivers, ensuring responsibility, discipline and pride in the Lagos transport system.
At Lagra, we tell our captains the change in Lagos begins with you, because we realize that transportation is the one sector that, one, you can earn every day, two, you interact with people every day. So that mindset shift, that's one of the things that we do at the Lagrad Academy as well. We're doing a massive captain onboarding drive. We want 3,500 new captains. We have a refer a captain and earn 20,000 to anyone. Anyone can refer a captain. So, and captains are already referring captains, but we want everyday people to refer more captains to our platform.
Lagride reaffirms its commitment to building a reliable, technology-driven and people-centered mobility platform that supports riders, empowers captains, and contributes to the future of organized urban transportation in Lagos.
A major step towards a single African aviation market has been taken, with ministers adopting the Lomé Ministerial Declaration on the accelerated implementation of the single African air transport market. Now, the declaration, read by the AFCAC Secretary General Adefunke Adeyemi, sets out commitments aimed at opening Africa's skies, reducing taxes and charges on air travel, and improving connectivity across the continent.
And the declaration covers 8 areas. 8 areas. 1 is on accelerating startup implementation. 2, reducing the cost. 3, seamless mobility, facilitation and infrastructure. 4, sustainability, innovation and human capital. 5, safety, security and regulatory capacity. 6, strengthening AFCAC and sustainable delivery. 7, the AU theme 2027, monitoring and partnerships.
Now, the document was formally endorsed by ministers from Liberia and Nigeria, alongside other African delegates, underscoring a renewed determination to turn years of policy commitments into concrete action.
The intent and the spirit and the letters of this declaration, just read out to us, actually reflects our intentions, reflects our deliberations here. They reflect what we all have committed to do as ministers all over Africa.
Time for some business news with Dominic Iwiru.
Thank you, Ayan. On business news, global oil prices have hit their lowest level in 3 months today, following reports that the U.S. will allow Iran to immediately begin selling crude under the terms of the deal to end the conflict. International oil price benchmark Brent crude futures fell 5% to close at $78.96 per barrel, and that's the first time since March this year that its price has fallen below the $80 mark. For the U.S. West Texas Intermediate futures, it dropped 5.8% to settle at $76.05 per barrel. Meanwhile, industry sources say that oil sanctions relief for Iran will take effect immediately after the agreement is signed on Friday in Switzerland. The Nigerian Insurers Association has made history today with the appointment of Mrs. Ebelechukwu Nwachukwu as its 27th chairman, making her the first female to hold the position in the association's 55-year existence. Mrs. Nwachukwu, who currently serves as the deputy chairman of the NIA, says under her leadership, the association will focus on 3 key areas that reflects its mandate and will ensure that the new Insurance Act delivers lasting benefits. These include deepening insurance penetration through collaboration and advising governments on insurance compliance. Ahead of her investiture on July the 3rd, the chairman of the committee, Mr. Babatunde Fajemirokun, says the incoming administration in NIA will increase awareness around data on insurance contributions to the nation's economy. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has warned that Nigeria's estimated $59 billion crypto inflows may complicate efforts by the Central Bank of Nigeria to control liquidity, manage exchange rates stability, and effectively transmit monetary policy decisions across the economy. The IMF mission chief for Nigeria, Axel Shimelfing, who made this known in a blog, explains that due to elevated inflation and the Naira's volatility, households and small businesses are heavily leaning towards US dollar-pegged stablecoins to preserve value and settle international trade. While acknowledging the benefits of financial innovation and inclusion, the fund is urging authorities to strengthen regulatory oversight and improve monitoring of crypto-related transactions to safeguard financial stability. From the crypto market, we head to the domestic stock market, which extended its losing streak as profit-taking wipes out 782 billion naira from the total value of listed equities. Willie Bong has the details.
Welcome to the stock market reports. The NGX bounced off Monday's negative sentiments. As we see a red performance today. You see the all-share index down 0.5%. That's 0.5% down to 241,984 points. That's nearly 2,000 points above the index support level. The market cap that fell to 155 trillion naira. And at the major indexes, they are in the red today. Investors' disappointment in O&O's delay in publishing its full year 2025 and first quarter results has left the stock on the bleeding edge again. And that, of course, pulled back the oil and gas counter. We see it's 0.03% down. Now, profit-taking is still in Dangote Sugar. That's amid the company's ongoing rights issue. And that we see that down 0.52%. And banking that carried the cup home today, it fell over 2%. Now, let's take a look at the major laggards in the banking sector. The sector, we see First Coal down 1.56%, UBA 3.72%, but the biggest, the outlier here, we see GT Coal down 7.11%. Big one, all in the red. Definitely, they're taking the cup home for this. Now, is this because of the CBN's proposed rule on hold coals? Or is it a reaction to hot inflation data that we got yesterday? Well, we'll definitely keep watching that space. And those are the highlights. Will Ibon signing out.
Thank you, Will. We end business news with a mixture of major global stock markets closing performance for Tuesday. And that's it on business news. Back to Ayotunde for the rest of the news at 10.
Thanks, Dominic. U.S. President Donald Trump has stated that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon under a new agreement as discussions on the broader U.S.-Iran deal move into a second stage. Speaking at the G7 summit in France, Mr. Trump described the agreement as a fair and good deal, while confirming that the General Memorandum of Understanding has already been signed. Here's Simon Pusey from our London studio with more international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Donald Trump has said as part of the US's deal to end the war, Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Speaking at the G7 summit in France, the US president also renewed his criticism of Israel's strikes on Lebanon. Pakistan, a key mediator, announced on Sunday that the US and Iran had reached an agreement, but its contents are yet to be shared. On Monday, Trump administration officials said the deal had already been signed electronically by both sides, with a formal signing ceremony due to take place in Geneva in Switzerland later this week.
Very importantly, the oil is plummeting down and the stock market is shooting up like a rocket. I think it's going to be free sailing. We do want to see if we can straighten out the Lebanon thing, because it just seems to just never end.
8 people, including 2 Boeing employees, have been killed after a U.S. Air Force B-52 bomber crashed immediately after takeoff from Edwards Air Force Base in South California. The incident occurred at 11:20 local time on Monday, while the aircraft had been on a routine test mission. The crash sent a huge plume of black smoke into the air that could be seen for miles. The base earlier said that initial indications were that the crash was not survivable.
Today, Edwards Air Force Base experienced a horrible tragedy, and we lost 8 great Americans. This crash is deemed to be unsurvivable, and right now our thoughts and prayers are with the families of those that lost their loved ones.
Police in Poland are investigating the execution-style murder of a Russian artist and a vocal critic of President Vladimir Putin. Polish prosecutors said Robert K., known as the artist Semyon Skrzypecki, was shot dead on Monday morning in the Polish city of Biała Podlaska, around 40 kilometers from the Belarusian border. The 44-year-old was shot 5 times in the head, chest and back in a car park in the city, located around 600 meters from the Belarusian consulate. Semyon Skrzypecki was known for his caricatures of politicians, including Putin, Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko, and Chechen leader Ramzan Kadyrov. The Hungarian parliament has backed a change to the constitution that limits a prime minister's term in office to 8 years, fulfilling a promise by Peter Magyar to prevent Viktor Orban becoming prime minister again. Orban led Hungary uninterrupted for 16 years until Magyar's party swept him from power in April's elections, winning a 2/3 majority that gives it the power to amend the constitution. Under the change, no prime minister since 1990 can serve more than 2 terms in office, even if they are years apart. Orban's depleted Fidesz party voted against the measure, and the former prime minister, who was re-elected as its leader at the weekend, was highly critical of it. California Governor Gavin Newsom has alleged that the U.S. Department of Justice is investigating people in his orbit due to his political opposition to President Donald Trump. Newsom, a Democrat, acknowledged speculation that he would seek election to the White House in 2028, alleging Trump was coming after me because I'm considering running for president.
They're demanding records. They're abusing the grand jury process, digging through years and years of random documents. Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president, because he hates that I've consistently called him out over and over again for his lies and deceit.
And a thrill-seeking puzzle cube fan has broken a new record after setting himself the challenge of solving Rubik's Cubes in very unusual settings. Ishan Hadkar previously pulled off a stunt, solving 10 Rubik's Cubes while he was scuba diving, and now he's taken to the skies to break the record for the most rotating puzzle cubes solved in a single skydive. Diving from 13,000 feet over Oceanside, California, Ishan completely solved 2 cubes before his feet touched the ground. Believe it or not, this was actually the 24-year-old's first time skydiving.
I already had a record for solving 10 Rubik's Cubes while scuba diving. And over the course of 14 years in my cubing journey, I had won various competitions, that is on solid ground, of course. And the only thing that was remaining was solving the cube mid-air. And so one Thursday night, I decided to change that,
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. It wasn't a good one for Senegal as Kylian Mbappe scored twice as France this evening launched their bid for a third World Cup crown with a 3-1 victory over Senegal in Group I on Tuesday. Real Madrid star Mbappe took his career World Cup goals tally to 14, just two behind all-time leader Miroslav Klose, and Bradley Barcola was also on target as the Blues secured all 3 points for Didier Deschamps' side. He is now leveled with Gerd Müller in the overall list with only Klose and the Brazilian Ronaldo, 15, still ahead of him. And Argentina captain Lionel Messi is set to reach another remarkable milestone in his glittering international career when the defending champions Argentina faced Algeria in their FIFA World Cup Group J opener at Kansas City. Messi will mark his 200th senior appearance for his country, as the match will also revive a rare international rivalry, as the two nations have met only once in June 2007 when Argentina edged Algeria 4-2 in an entertaining friendly. At 19, Messi scored twice for Argentina in that match against Algeria, marking the first time he netted more than once in a senior international match. The game comes up at 2 a.m. Nigerian time. And Bukayo Saka says he is ready to go ahead of England's first World Cup match against Croatia amid concerns over an Achilles tendon injury that disrupted his end to the season with Arsenal. Saka says he and his teammate believe the Three Lions can go the next step in the United States after several agonizing near misses under previous boss Gareth Southgate. Well, as Nigerians join millions worldwide in following the FIFA World Cup, despite the absence of the Super Eagles, the United States mission marked the 250 years of American independence with Freedom Cup Novelty Football Tournament in Lagos. The theme celebrating freedom, unity, and democracy saw Team Truth, made up of journalists, emerging winners, defeating Team Opportunity of U.S. Education 6-2. The novelty matches also brought together U.S. government exchange alumni, students, representatives of the Lagos State government, and members of the U.S. mission community.
Unfortunately, the Super Eagles may not be on the pitch this year at the World Cup, but Nigeria is very much present at the World Cup 2026. From Afrobeat stars like Burna Boy and Rema, Freedom 250 is a celebration of not just what America has built, but what the future holds for our global engagement. Through our continued sports and cultural partnerships with Nigeria, we look forward to deepening the connections and creating new cultural and commercial opportunities for the United States of America and the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That sports is back to you, Ayo.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Court of Appeal stays judgment deregistering 5 political parties and has faulted trial judges' action as an affront to judicial hierarchy. And with 4 days to the Ekiti governorship election, chieftains of the All Progressives Congress today held a mega rally in Ekiti to mobilize support for Governor Biodun Oyebanji. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. And do have a good night.